back-to-back now. Again, it's very likely we will change the order of the last two matches based on the scores of the players after certain games. So we do that just because it's a little bit better for us to, obviously remove the the possibility of a pointless matchup or a matchup that has no meaning in the group. So we do tend to try and change our match order around just to make that final couple of matches still be worthwhile and meaningful and to still have an effect. We didn't yesterday because the Muslim was feeling a bit ill, but it all worked out in the end. The matches that were played were still all meaningful, and it worked out that the 450 Muslim didn't really have any effect on the group. To the bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg player from Red Bull is Nerchio. He's going up against the blue Protoss player in the top left side of Catalyst, Cyan. Yeah, you guys, a few guys talking about kind of, why some of these players play in events, or I guess that's not maybe the full topic of conversation, but I've always found it very interesting in StarCraft that a lot of, the top players do play in these online events. Obviously not everyone does, but a lot of players do. And there's a good reason for that, because obviously there's some decent money to be won, but you got to think as well that, okay, an online tournament does take a bit longer, but generally you're going to be playing StarCraft 2 anyways, and while it's not maybe as fast in and out of games every time like ladder, you are still going to get to experience maybe kind of matches in a best-of-3 format, which you don't get on the ladder, so you get that sort of experience. And you're still kind of in general practicing while playing in the tournament, which is why a lot of players will still play, even if it's, not maybe perfect practice. For example, even Cyan here, I don't think he's necessarily expecting to win through his group and go straight to the playoffs or whatever, But he comes up, he shows up, it's good practice, it's a good chance to play against some of these guys and, get best-of-3 experience against them, perhaps. It's a good chance to show yourself as well, That's something which I think a lot of people kind of miss out on too, For Cyan, this is, a good few hundred people watching him and maybe becoming a fan of his play, and while that might not mean anything today, when he wins something maybe in the future, maybe people will be like, whoa, I remember that guy, then it's more easy for them to relate to him, and so on, and so on. So, we're just getting set up here and looking to see what will be happening as a Stargate comes down this time around from Cyan. We saw this in Game 2 against Namshar, and here right now against Nerchio in game number 1, he's just going to be opening in the same way. Now, he did go into a bit of what I was saying was an interesting follow-up from that in the Namshar series when he opened Stargate. He went into a couple of extra gates and then the Robo while taking the third base. So he really did put himself into that kind of... It was an interesting position, right? Like, it wasn't what you always expect to see. It wasn't quite the Twilight Robo Templar Archives combo that we see time and time and time again, so yeah, a little bit interesting, a little bit intriguing. Always fun to see what he might come out with in the next few moments here, as we do see that Phoenix is on the way up, getting set to go. Phoenix pops out and we'll start to chase down that Overlord, and we do see the Oracle currently being Corona boosted as well. A few Lings trying to come in at the front, but the Adepts doing a decent job of blocking. Well, actually the Lings get a good surround there in the end. Shade obviously doesn't block those Lings properly, as we are going to see Nerchio. He loses the Overlord as expected, but into the main, he'll try and grab a couple of probe kills before the Oracle comes out and makes a full-on sturdy defense. I don't think this Oracle should pop its energy on these Lings. He will. I guess it makes life a bit easier, but it kind of feels like now you've kind of given up that energy and you didn't really need to. Yes, it's nice to kill the Zerglings, but it's also nice to have more energy on the Oracle to do more damage across the map, whether that's now or in a few minutes. As this time the Twilight Council and the Robo Facility as a follow-up of the 2 gateways. So I expect to see probably 2 to 4 more gateways coming down soon as well, depending on just how he wants to take this Nexus. Is he really going to take this? Off of 2 bases? Off of 2 gates? No, okay. He throws down the extra 2 gates in the main, and that should be a Nexus now. So 4 gates into the 3rd base. It's not quite as aggressive as it could be. It's kind of a nice middle ground between being super greedy and super aggressive with the first War Prism and Templar Archives. And we'll see here, charges actually prioritized. He might not even rush in towards the Prism and Archon jobs. We'll see. what he wants to do. As Nerchio does get himself a Banelin Nest up, he drops down a Hydralisk Den in the main base as well.
It's going to be seeing the lava popping out as injects complete as well. Nerchio starting to get his first Crypt Tumors, pushing forwards on the map. And yeah, there's that War Prism coming through. Feels like all the games so far, Cyan has not really had the best of starts. And when I say starts, I mean first 5 to 8 minutes of the game. And arguably that's not quite, you know, fully the start, but it feels like everything or something has always gone wrong for him up until those, you know, at those sort of points, which has then made the follow-up attacks just straight up kill him, or straight up kind of just do enough damage to then start to snowball, right? That's not really been the case this time around, just yet, at least. I mean, obviously we're only 6 minutes in. These Lings running, but he's got the Oracle to defend. He's losing a couple of probes, which is far from the end of the world. He's got an Adept in the wall as well, so really this is kind of okay. Maybe the biggest issue is the Oracle's about to run out of energy, and the Zealot is running back and forth trying to catch it. Prism does have 2 Archons across the map, though. Man, this is actually 7 probes. Suddenly, it is a lot more damage done than it should have been, maybe. Well, let's see what these Archons can do, because those Lings not being over here makes it more difficult for the Hydras to defend, but for now, it's good enough. The Hydras are able to push that Archon, or double Archon, back. And the Archon's back in towards the center, going to get rid of a couple of Crypt Tumors here. So a couple of Crypt Tumors going down. We are going to see the Archons lifting back up once again. Dropping over to the left-hand side and still pushing up through the center of the map. We have a lot more Lings, a few more Hydras. All coming up towards the top here. And as we have got, well, 11 more Banelings currently on the way out. A couple of Zerglings going down here, and we are going to be seeing still those Lings trying to do something a little bit extra. Nerchio continue to come in towards the top. He's actually getting very aggressive, Nerchio. No upgrades with this, only 50 drones or so. You know, all those Banes are going to start coming in towards the Zealots. I mean, that's what they want to connect on. Man, the Hydras are doing so much damage to the Archon that was kind of separated out. The Archons across the map were starting to do some damage, but then Lings and Hydras reinforce this. GG. It's a plain simple attack from Nerchio, Lingbane Hydra. Like, you know, everyone, you know, is this like 2.5 hours isn't really enough time to build up the hype, build up the story, just get the stream going. You know, a lot of people see, you know, start tuning in, like, oh, Wardy, what's up? How's it going? You know, see we're 2 hours into the stream. Then the stream ends like 20 minutes later. They're like, oh, what? I want to see if we stream like 3 hours, 3.5, 4. It's just a little bit more, just feels a little bit more proper, you know? Just feels a little bit more proper. Alright, well, we set up here into game number 2 of this best of 3. It's the first game of Nerchio of the day, and it's the final game of Cyan. Obviously, we play Cyan's games first because he is in China, so makes a little bit more sense for him to play first and get his matches over and done with, rather than making him stay up later. That's one of the things we do just to try and aid the players whenever possible. Obviously, sometimes compromises have to be made. Sometimes both play, you know, multiple players have to maybe go this. You know, it's not great timing for multiple players, but in this one, it's definitely Cyan who's affected the most. For the rest of the players, it's just evening European time. So, well, we do see the hatch gas pool coming down, and we see the Nexus from Cyan coming into the natural expansion as well. Going to see that gateway being added on, and just an assimilator being popped down from Cyan also. So getting that set up and ready to go. Game 2 on Eastwatch. How's everyone doing out in the chat? Is everyone feeling good today? How's everyone's week been? It's Friday, guys! Feels like it's been forever since I cast on a Friday evening. Feels like it's been an absolute eternity. So what's up, everybody? How's everyone doing? I hope you're all having a great time. I hope you're all having a lot of fun. And, yeah, I hope you're having a great time. I hope you've had a great week, and I hope you all have very exciting weekends planned. Loads of StarCraft this weekend. WCS Challenger, I'll be covering some Go for SC2 probably. The Huangzhou StarCraft Carnival is going to be kicking off. It really is very exciting, I'm not going to lie. I'm very excited for all of these games. And yeah, I just hope you guys are ready to watch a bunch of StarCraft. There's actually nothing planned in terms of tournaments tomorrow, which kind of irks me out a little bit. So I'm kind of tempted to run something. I'm not sure. You guys want to see some StarCraft tomorrow? I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if we should just run maybe like an impromptu tournament. I don't know if I have the funds to run an impromptu tournament. Anyone want to sponsor an impromptu tournament tomorrow? That'd be fantastic. You guys give me a few player names, you guys. Or maybe not player names, that'd be kind of difficult maybe, but... It's difficult, but it'd be good, right? I mean, there's nothing on a Saturday. There should be StarCraft on a Saturday. There should be competition. It'd be good to be able to put something together, but we'll see, we'll see. We do have the Twilight Council coming down in the main base here from Cyan, and we are just going to be having him opening kind of how he tried to open a little bit earlier as well. This was double gate early, by the way. I'm actually not 100% sure. Was this Nexus first? I think it was Nexus first, yes. So, Nexus first into double gateway. That kind of big boost in economy into the double adept follow-up. Again, you can always tell it's Nexus first. Like, having 35 workers at 3 minutes and 30 seconds in game, that's a hell of a lot compared to, like, a gate Nexus. Like, it does make a pretty substantial difference by about, 4 to 5 workers. It really, truly does. Let's see a couple of adepts coming in, and we are going to be seeing a few of those drones going down. I'm just going to be seeing the Lings surrounding and getting that pick off there. Nicely done. Rubber facility starting up in the natural. And so already got the Twilight down, goes into charge. He'll take these assimilators. For a moment I was wondering, maybe he goes into some very sort of aggressive play and he's, pulling out of gas, but he does have gas mining, so that's pretty good. Saltop in the chat saying he's had a rough week, but it's Friday. Hope you're having a good time too. I'm having a great time. I'm sorry to hear you had a rough week, but hopefully the weekend makes it better. At the very least, you can watch some StarCraft now, which is always a big plus. Oh, Dark Shrine, interesting. So maybe this does get aggressive with like an Archon Zealot attack. I'm intrigued. Let's see how this goes. We do see the War Prism coming across down towards the bottom left. A little bit of a look to see what's going on. Zealot start to warp in. 6 roaches are coming through from Nerchio as well here. I mean, roaches are a really amazing way to defend against any sort of aggression. They're a little bit more sturdy than Ling Bane, which can be kited and manipulated by Archons. Just feels those roaches are a bit more sturdy. As long as you can keep up with the the movement of your opponent. The roaches are a little bit less mobile than Ling Bane. The roaches definitely they'll do something a little bit different. You do see a few more Zealots warping in. Right, going to be coming down this left side in towards the third base. A lot of roaches on the way in the last few minutes, right, though, so he should be able to turn this around, but he's a little bit out of position to begin with. Maybe not sure whether this was going to hit the main or the third, so he was just sort of sat on the natural, ready to respond to either. And he will respond quite nicely. Only one Zealot killed off by Cyan. He pulls back pretty quick. He starts up a second Prism. He's going to go very micro-heavy here, despite the ping, while starting up a gold base as well. So gold base coming through. And meanwhile, we do see a few of these Zealots just charging forwards to clean up a few of these creep teamers. So some creep teamers getting picked away at. Nerchio comes down the ramp with a few roaches and will start to push those Zealots away. Oh, DT's actually coming towards the third, and there is an Overseer here. One of those situations where I actually feel maybe if he'd actually just targeted the hatchery, he could have gotten a kill. Maybe, just maybe. It's always hard to know. Oh, Nerchio's going to start doing it for him. Okay, he fixes that. That would have been... Imagine he actually targeted the hatchery, didn't quite kill it, then Nerchio A-clicks the hatchery. Oh, that wouldn't have been so pretty. That wouldn't have been so pretty, as we are going to be seeing the Prism just jumping up in towards the main. And he's going to be unloading just a few Zealots here. Couple of Queens pushing back a War Prism, and we are going to see this Observer taking a couple of shots of damage as well. Again, that Prism just moving around here. Spore Crawler on the way up right once more. We're just going to be seeing this roach speed also coming through, as we see a few DTs and Zealots up in the main base, and again, just a few Lings, Queens, and Roaches picking those units off. And the War Prism just coming along here now. He's just going to be continuing to harass around him. He's been doing a good job, though. He's kept Nerchio at home, which is got to be one of the main points of this entire, strategy, right? Keep Nerchio at home, keep Nerchio busy. Don't let Nerchio get into a comfortable position while I set up onto this gold base, while I get my economy going. And for the first time in his matches, all of his matches today, I really truly feel as though Cyan is being able to execute his build. He's been able to get himself into the position he's been kind of looking for. Nothing's gone horrendously wrong. He hasn't lost 7 probes to a Reaper. He hasn't lost 7 probes to a small Ling run by on a third base. Everything's just been going right. Gonna have a little bit of
Warp Prism Micro. Did I just curse the guy? Everything's going right as he flies in and loses a Prism of Archons. Ah! A little bit messy there. Again, it's difficult to micro with the ping that he's playing with, but it's tough. It's tough. I mean, what can you say? Don't want to make excuses for the players, but sometimes you got to keep things in mind. And oh my god, this is disastrous. A hold position on the lings, right between the minerals and the gas, and the probes just walk through them. Okay, well, this really is just disastrous now. Roaches are going to show up, and these couple of Immortals are going to have a great time. The Archons are stuck in the main, apparently. Oh, dear. Actually, just missing an Overseer to get rid of the DTs. Otherwise, this is pretty much a one of those one-game scenarios. He kills off another Archon as it drops down. And the Overseer is about to show up, so you can actually get rid of the DTs now as well. And that's just even more kills that are so valuable for Nerchio. I really, truly thought that this was going to be a much stronger scenario, a much stronger situation, a much better outcome, but no. Unfortunately, it's not the case, and as we see Roaches, Lings, Ravages, and Hydras continue to push forwards, this is truly going to be about the end of it as Roaches and Hydras continue to fight the last couple of Zealots going down. I mean, when there's only one Archon, one Immortal to try and stand up to this, it's just never going to be enough. Stalkers keep dropping, and unfortunately for Cyan, it's been a brutal day for him. An hour and a half is all it takes for the players, all three of them in the group, to move through him 2-0.